So guys, welcome back to the channel, and today we have the BY-BE-225 open ear wireless earbuds. Now you can actually find these at Five Below, that's where I got them. And you know, I'm always a fan of open earbuds, especially ones that are cheap or affordable, where people may not be able to spend a lot of money for their particular buds. And I mean, I gotta be honest, I was a little disappointed with these, especially with the quality of sound. So let's go over a little bit of the tech specs real fast. So they do have Bluetooth 5.4, USB-C on the back, no wireless charging or anything like that. You do get 4 hours of battery life on one charge, and you also get 12 hours in the case. You're getting 16 hours total. And as you can see, this part is flexible, where you can hook this behind your ear. This part goes into your ear where the speaker actually is. And you know, it kind of reminds me of the Bose or some alternative brand. They always make replicas of certain brands, but they don't really know how to replicate the feel. But we'll talk a little bit about that in this video. So with that being said, let's hop right into it. I'm going to show you how these guys look, how they feel. We're going to talk about all the stuff that's necessary when it comes to actually purchasing a product. And I do feel like these do fall short overall. So let's get right into the video. So it's very simple to sync them. Just throw the case open, take the left and the right bud out at the same time. As you can see right here, they're going to communicate with one another. This bud is now, the left bud is now synced to the right. And I'm just going to give it a couple seconds. I'm going to go to the Bluetooth. And remember, depending on what device you're using, whether it's a Steam Deck or Nintendo Switch, the process of syncing is going to be exactly the same. And we're just going to wait for it to pop up in the settings. Here we go, BY-BE-225, that's the name of the headset. Click on that. And if you're an Android user, it's going to ask you to access your contacts. I'm just going to go ahead and say yes. But for Apple users, you don't have to do this. You just hit it, it'll pair. If you're using a PC, it'll do pretty much the same thing. And boom, we are currently connected. Now, I did already charge them. Now, I just want to throw this part right here. This is right, this is L right here. Left side, right side. So you have to put them in based on the contacts. See them? Just go and flip it, place it back inside the case like so. So kind of keep that in mind. But outside of that, yeah, there's no multi-point or anything like that. So just follow these steps and you should have no problem syncing these buds. So don't mind the droopy T right now. I woke up in the morning. This is the bud right here. This is going to be the right side right here. I'm going to show you how to put it in, so make sure you do that correctly. Remember this part that I told you where it actually extends at the beginning of the video? You're going to want to hold that behind you like so. Once you do that, this fits right into the front, and that is how they fit. We'll do the same thing for the left ear right here. Remember this part extends, this goes behind the ear. I'm going to place it behind the ear, make sure that, well, you can't really see it behind my ear. Just place it behind your ear, and then it just rolls into the front. And this is how it sits. And to be honest with you, even though they may look tight on the ear, I don't have any ear fatigue so far with these. Now, what I will say is it does feel a little sore over time, because when you compare these to, like, say, the Bose, which are where they got the design from, I feel like the Bose ones are obviously much better. Those are like $299 headphones versus these are like $8. So it's not a direct comparison in comfort, but you could tell that they did pretty much adopt the style, and I do like that. I want to also say that I was able to wear these for the 4-hour battery life, and it was no real issue. The only time I felt any type of ear fatigue was when we hit about the 8-hour mark or so, because I put them back in the case, placed them back into my ears throughout the day at work. This is the perfect time for me to wear them, and that's when I noticed that it didn't pinch my ear. But compared to the other products, the other ear clips that they have at Five Below, these are super, super comfortable compared to those. So I don't think you'll have an issue overall, but 9 times out of 10, and this is just my personal opinion, realistically, once you're using these, if you end up liking ear clips, you're probably going to start searching ear clips from other channels, my channel, and I do have other suggestions for people that are interested. Comment below, and I'll tell you the ones that are affordable, reasonably priced, that will last you for a long time. But this isn't bad for a starter to kind of give you the idea of how ear clips are actually going to fit. I like them. I like them so far, at least in this aspect. We got other stuff to talk about. So I had to kind of go back and listen to some more songs. Juice WRLD Mariana on the Cross. I said Mariana on the Cross. Ghost, Mary on the Cross. Sorry. I listened to 2 songs from Claire Expedition 33, the one with Renner, whoever his name is, the boss battle. And I also did a bunch of songs. These are the ones that are more memorable, that I feel like really push the limits of the headset. It's not that good, to be honest with you, when it comes to sound. So the bass is average. I don't expect much out of the bass. Obviously, they're open earbuds, so a lot of these don't really have super crazy bass, especially at this price point. You got to keep in mind these are really cheap headphones from Five Below. The vocals don't sound bad, in my opinion, but it feels like every other aspect of the music really suffers. So if a piano's playing in the background, like on Mario, I don't know if that's a piano Marion Cross or not, but whatever that keyboardish sound is, I don't know what it's called. It sounds cheapened, like the volume is lessened. On top of that, you can tell that the speakers really aren't that good. Like when I turn it up to 100%, it feels like maybe 50 to 60% on another headset. And we're not talking about $100 headphones. Like if I compare these to the JLab clips, for example, which are normally 50, but you can get them as low as 25 on Amazon, or even the Tozo clips. All of those sound substantially louder than the Tozos, are about $30. So if you have the money, you obviously need to get the better product. But if you're shopping at Five Below for Bluetooth in the first place, it means you're not looking to really spend that much money. So I'm trying to be fair with this comparison, but it's going to sound really bad when I say this. I don't suggest them for music at all. Podcasting, I listened to the Joe Budden podcast. It sounded, I don't know if it sounded really good, but it sounded really bad. Like the parts where Joe and the crew was laughing, it was really uneven. It was like different people were sitting in different parts of the room, and sometimes your voice was louder than others. It was like the headset can't really differentiate the quality of sound that's needed for you to have that full experience of not surround sound, but just you can tell it's cheap. That's all I can really say. You can tell it's really, really cheap. Playing music like Juice WRLD, one of my favorite songs is Burn, and because I understand what the song means as an adult that, got over issues and stuff. I understand where he's coming from with that particular song when I compare it to my own life. And it just doesn't hit the same, you know what I mean? It's like the parts where the instruments are playing, it's not very pronounced. It sounds muffled and jumbled. The quality of the drivers are very, very low end drivers. So it does take me out of that element. Now, if I play this at about 50%, 60%, then it's okay. I don't really have the same problems that I'm experiencing. But again, the maximum volume for this headset is very, very low for a pair of open headphones. So if you're going outside with these, nah. If you're jogging with these, nah. Like if there's cars going past or anything like that, someone speaking to you, these don't do a good job of keeping you in the element. You're going to be able to hear everything around you. Now, obviously, open ear, you want to hear everything around you. But I'm saying that the maximum volume is so low that it's going to feel like I should have just worn a different headset, if I'm being completely honest with you. But if we're just talking about the look and feel, I mean, you're actually pinching my ears right now. My wife used them, and she says that they're okay for her because she has smaller earlobes. But for people that have medium to large, I don't see really using this. I probably should have said it in the previous version, but it's something that it reminded me as I was using it. I'm trying to find some aspect about this that's really good, and it's just the battery life so far. If we're being completely honest here, yeah, it's pretty below average when it comes to quality. You can tell. It's like you're wearing them because you don't have any other choice right now, because money's a little bit tight. But if you like the clips, my suggestion is to look into other pairs, especially on my channel or other channels, and they can give you a better assessment of what to buy and what will last you longer, because it is a really big market, in my opinion, for open ear headphones. A lot of companies are doing it, but only certain ones are doing it properly, and this is not where it's at. So I'm going to leave it like that. So this right here is going to be a sample of me recording with the actual microphones and the earbuds themselves. Now, I'm not outside. I am currently in my little office itself doing this recording. So it's a quiet environment. So I haven't heard this recording. I'll hear it after I actually press stop and review it. But this is the level that you're going to get. So if you're speaking to someone on the phone, it's probably going to sound similar to this one. If you're doing some form of recording, like a vlog or anything, and you decide to use the microphones rather than your phone microphone, this is the level of quality that you're going to get. I'm not going to say it's good. I'm not going to say it's bad right now, but I am going to assess it at the end of this video for the person that just wants to get the
quick roundup of this entire video. So if you're going through this, don't skip past this part. Pay attention to the microphones, because if you don't like this, you're not going to like the earbuds. So keep that in mind.
So this is the right bud right here, and this is the left bud right here. The little silver surface is where the touch aspect is going to be. So you have to get used to it. And remember, this part goes behind the ear. This is just soft rubber, but the surface right here is where the touch is going to be. So let's kind of go over the instructions. I have them on the top left-hand corner for anyone that wants to screenshot this part of the video. Here we go. So when you just tap and hold for pause and play, these are short presses right here, or it might be short swipes depending on how you get used to touching the actual earbuds. That is how you pause and play the music. Now, the same tap and touch will allow you to answer a phone call, like a little hard touch, and hang up a phone call, so keep that in mind. Now, to reject a phone call, you're going to hold it for 1.5 seconds on either side, just one, and it will send the person to voicemail. Now, this is for, keep in mind that if someone calls you in the middle of a song and you're trying to change things, it's probably going to end up answering the phone call, so kind of be aware of that. This is the reason why I normally use my phone for everything rather than the touch controls themselves. Now, if you want to go ahead and do a previous song, you would double click the surface on the left-hand side and it would take you backwards. If you want to go to the next song, then you're using the right earbud, you double tap, it'll take you to the next song for the right earbud. Keep in mind the left and the right, they're not customizable. Whatever is inside of these instructions is all you're getting. You cannot change them yourself, so keep that in mind. Now, in order to increase the volume, this is the part that gets crazy to me, you have to triple tap the earbud, triple click. So the left earbud will increase the volume, while if you triple tap the right earbud, it'll actually decrease the volume. And you'll hear minimum prop sound. So it'll be a little sound that lets you know that the earbud is increasing or is decreasing. Triple tapping for volume is insane to me. That seems like way too much work. Personally, I'm just going to take my phone, tablet, whatever it is, hit the little button, volume up, volume down, while it's locked, and that's pretty much it. And it works better for me in that regard. Now, if you're a person out there and you buy a better headset of better quality, you're going to notice that the touch is going to be a lot more responsive. But again, this is, $8, I think it was, $8 to $10. I believe it was $8 for these. And it's a Five Below product, so it will get you to where you need to be. I haven't had any real disconnectivity issues, so I guess in a sense, let's go ahead and do the conclusion so the person that wanted to skip this whole video can just kind of go to that part and decide for themselves if they want these buds. So let's talk about if they're worth the asking price. I'm going to explain to people why they're worth it if you're looking for this type of headset, and then I'm going to do a separate section about why they're not worth it in my personal opinion. So a plus is that they have a long battery life. 16 hours for Five Below is a long time. Normally earbuds are 6 hours, 7 hours, 9 hours, something ridiculous. And the buds last for 15 minutes, and that's pretty much it. I'm exaggerating, but they do really feel that way. This has a 4-hour battery life. 12 hours inside the case, you're getting a total of 16 hours with this headset throughout the entire day. Now, when it comes to talk time and stuff, it obviously varies depending on how high the volume is, so there's that. When it comes to the comfort, if you're a smaller ear person, my wife said it was perfectly fine. Of course, she's the only person I had try them on outside of me, but she said she didn't really have an issue with it. They are snug and they do fit and they will not fall off your ear. That much I do vouch and guarantee. You can wear these all day and they're going to stay in the same spot. They won't shake around. If you lay down, if you're running, it will stay inside of your ear. So cool. I do feel like the microphones are clear enough for the asking price where if you're having a conversation with someone over the phone, they don't sound extremely horrible. They do sound clear enough, but you can tell that someone is using a product that isn't high end, but we already know that this isn't a high end product. But it doesn't feel like you're underwater talking when you're speaking to people. So again, there's a plus in that regard. But keep in mind, you got to be in quiet areas or areas where the wind isn't blowing. If you're in an area, a building, and other people are talking, it might be a little hard for you to hear the other person doing the maximum volume, but they still will be able to hear everything you say over the phone. Outside of that, I guess that's pretty much the positives. That good, decent battery life, fit and feel is decent for people that have smaller ears. The microphones for talking are okay. Now here's the negatives about this. I feel like the music quality is just awful, if I'm being completely honest here. I said it's below average before, but I listened to it again. It's just awful. If you're listening to R&B, it doesn't sound that good. If you're listening to rap or death metal or practically any genre that you choose, the balance of sound is just all over the place, if I'm being completely honest with you. And it just doesn't really sound that good. Even when I hooked them up to my Steam Deck, it didn't sound that good. It was just like attacking. Certain sounds were louder than what they were supposed to be. The music took a backseat to some of the sound effects and I'm about to say animations, but you know, it just is really unbalanced. You can tell that this was a rush product, that Bytech is just pushing stuff out of the window just for the sake of it for Five Below, and they know their audience. They know their audience isn't looking for high quality. They just want something that's cheap, that's going to work. And this is cheap and it's going to work, but it has some drawbacks. Another issue that I came across was the fit and feel for me personally. It kind of burned my earlobe a little bit. Not burned it where it actually burned. What I mean is it's like that burning sensation where something is rubbing against it for too long, it's uncomfortable. That's what happened to me. So even though my wife can wear it, I have either medium or big ears, depending on how you feel about when you look at me in the videos. It just wasn't super comfortable to wear for well over 4 hours. Like I did it at first, I didn't really care. But when I started going back to some of my other earbuds, I was like, that pain that I had on the tip of my ear was gone. It was like nothing was rubbing against it. It didn't feel like something was too tight. This is a replica of the Bose, and they don't replicate the feel at all. You can tell that it's cheap. It's not a bad attempt, but again, you know, comfort matters when it comes to earbuds, and it's just not really comfortable. So the music quality isn't that great. The comfort overall, if you're wearing it for long periods of time, you pop it back in the case, put it back in your ear, it's going to cause you a form of irritation. And that to me is enough to say, I just don't want to wear them. I don't suggest them because of all the earbuds that I go through, but I do understand why a person would buy this because they're Five Below and you're looking to save money. So I do understand both sides. But if it was me, just get the Tozo open or something else. They may not be highly rated, but they're better than these. But anyway, that's all I gotta say. Like and subscribe like always. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. Hope to hear from you in the comment section. And if you have any questions, ask away. I'm an open book. Anyway, I'll see you guys in the next video. Till then, take care. Peace.